Dear learners, welcome back to NPTEL online certification course on novel drug delivery systems. I am Dr. Satish Devanapelli, working as assistant professor at Department of Pharmaceutical Sciences and Technology, Institute of Chemical Technology, Mumbai. So, in our previous lecture, we have started with the introduction to novel drug delivery systems. In that, we have discussed various topics of the drug delivery systems. Especially, we have seen on the what are the novel drug delivery systems. We have seen the terminology, evaluation, and also we have seen the generations of drug delivery systems. So, here we are going to see the new topic, that is polymers used in drug delivery system. And so, these are today's the flow of presentation. So, first we will see the introduction and then classification. What are the biodegradable polymers? What are the ideal properties for a polymer that will be used in drug delivery system? And then we will see the application, and there are the few examples we will see for short time what are the non-drug delivery applications of that polymers, and then we will see the advantages and the limitations. So, here in introduction we are going to see what are the polymers which will help us, and we will see in the classification for the development of the drug delivery system. So, in introduction to polymers used in drug delivery systems. So, here the polymers will play critical role in the drug delivery systems due to their ability to modify drug release profile and enhance bioavailability and improve stability and the target delivery to the specific sites. As we know, the polymers are the collections of the monomers. For example, for one example like PLGA, it is the monomers which are nothing but lactic acid as well as glycolic acid. So, it is a continuous repetition of this monomer are nothing but polymers. And when you combine two things, two different type of monomers which are called as copolymers. There are the tri-block copolymers also available, nothing but. So, we need to combine these three blocks into together, which are nothing but tri-block polymers. So, that is why when we use in the novel drug delivery systems, so by using of various polymers, the efficacy, safety and other the pharmacokinetic properties of the drug molecules will change. So, that is why when you compare with other materials like lipids as well as inorganic materials, so polymers have a huge role in a drug delivery applications. So, which will control the release as well as enhance the bioavailability and will improve the stability and the drug delivery. So, here we can classify the polymers based on the source and based on the biodegradability and based on the response to stimuli. So, few things we are going to discuss, so that we will see. So, dedicated topic we will discuss on the response to stimuli, we have in another section. So, that we are not going to discuss in today's presentation. So, classification based on the sources, natural polymers, synthetic polymers and the semi-synthetic polymers. In next slide we are going to see detail. So, here three classification based on the biodegradability, biodegradables and the non-biodegradable polymers based on the response stimuli, nothing but which are smart polymers which will respond at particular site with the pH as well as temperature, enzymatic sensitive and the magnetic responsive polymers. So, these are used in the drug delivery applications. Now, first we will see the natural polymers. So, these are the various sources this natural polymer will comes. So, here we know these are all the most commonly used polymers in the drug delivery applications. So, chitosan is the well known polymer we use in various biomedical as well as novel drug delivery applications to modify the release as well as to encapsulate the systems, and not only that, which can be used in the various tissue engineering applications, also wound healing applications. So, the properties which contains, which is a positive charge, that is the most attracting one as a nano carrier system, and definitely with that positive charge which will show the mucoadhesive property, it will interlink or it will attract with the mucin which contains sialic acid, that is one of the major approach for as a mucoadhesive polymer. This can be also used in nasal drug delivery and also colon targeting. So, not only this, there are so many applications for these natural polymers. Alginate, sodium alginate, this comes from the seaweed and this can used as a pH sensitive gel and oral and injectable also in the as in nano carrier system. Gelatin comes from the collagen and xanthan come from the bacterial source, and xyloglucan and the starch and hyaluronic acid. So, these are also natural source which can be used in various platforms. Now, you can see the nanoparticles, microspheres as a sustained release tablets, colon specific drug delivery to target the colon for the colon diseases, and we can also make various types of the tablets and implants with the starch also, and hyaluronic acid, one of the mostly used polymer in terms of even for the gene delivery and the topical and the ophthalmic formulations. So, these are the sources and the application of the natural polymers. Now, we are going to see the synthetic polymers. Yes, synthetic polymers have their controlled architecture. We can get high purity compared with the natural polymers, because lot of impurities and toxic materials, heavy metals may come because which are the natural sources. So, that is one of the major limitation for the utilization in the drug delivery. So, we need to look on such purity parameters, and toxic chemical should be within the limit, and you can convert this synthetic into various modify into various properties. You can modify their structure, we can conjugate with the lipid, we can coat on the carrier systems. So, these are the one of the advantages compared with the natural polymers in case of synthetic polymers. So, these are the various polymers as I mentioned. PLGA PLGA polylactide coglycolic acid, this is a lactic acid and the glycolic acid. You can also use combination of these two monomers, that is a copolymer. PCl polycaprolactone eudragide polyethylene glycol and the polaxomer or pluronics. Now, you can see the all synthetics are the biodegradable, and of course, natural also which are biodegradable, and yes, if you want to go for the specific targeting like enteric coating and colon targeting, you can go with the various types of the eudragide polymers, and non-degradable hydrophilic, non-biodegradable and hydrophilic polymers that can also we can use, and the thermosensitive polymers we can also use as in a thermosensitive application with the pluronics. So, these are the various applications of these synthetic polymers. And now, we will see the semi-synthetic. Here we can see the carboxymethyl cellulose, HPMC, ethyl cellulose, hydroxyethyl starch. So, these are known polymers which are semi-synthetic source which comes from the natural, further need to be modified into the semi-synthetic polymers for the proper applications. So, this can be used in the tablets, injectables and the matrix systems, also in the ophthalmic and other the topical formulations. Now, the term biodegradability is very important, because if your polymer is not degradable, we cannot use it as a drug delivery. Yes, we can use it as an implant, but later that need to be removed from the target site. So, your polymer should have the biodegradability, that is a major property of any polymer. Otherwise, your polymer, if it is not degraded, it will induce the toxicity that will not compatible for the human bodies. So, your material should be biodegradable, is nothing but ability of material to break down into simpler non-toxic components such as water, carbon dioxide, methane or biogas. So, in drug delivery for the human application, the metabolites should be converted into the water, carbon dioxide, and that metabolite should not show any toxic after the degradation of your polymers. So, by the action of natural biological agents, either by enzymes, microorganisms or some environmental condition, your polymer need to be degraded. So, hydrolysis mechanism, enzymatic, microbial, these are the various examples you can see here that will convert into the water or carbon dioxide. Okay. So, these are the, here we can see synthetic, semi-synthetic, all type of polymers are undergo the biodegradation. So, these are the ideal properties of polymers for drug delivery system. If you want to use any polymer, the properties need to be come out within this list. Your polymer should be biocompatible, nothing but the compatibility after administration which will not show any type of immune and toxic response. So, before approval or before using of any new polymer, you need to check the biocompatibility studies. So, here in the biocompatibility, what we can do, we can take the polymers and we need to test with the blood, so that your hemoglobin should not released out from the blood or RBC. So, that is called as hemocompatibility study. So, similarly, we can also see the aggregation of the blood components on your polymers. So, your polymer should not show any toxicity or immune response on the human beings. So, if it is not showing, that means your polymer is compatible, and you need to find out what is the concentration required to show the biocompatibility. Then only regulatory people will give the approval for your new polymer. And yes, whatever we use in nowadays, which are already approved through the regulatory body. So, second one is biodegradable. This already we have discussed, that the final after degradation, that metabolite or the active molecule will not show toxicity to the human beings. And control degradation rate, this when you want to go for the prolonged release and for the modified release, your polymer should show the control release. Definitely when you are going with the synthetic or semi-synthetic polymers, will show the control release compared with the natural polymers. A drug polymer compatible is very important. Your polymer should not degrade your drug, and your polymer should not degrade or decrease the efficacy of the molecule. So, your polymer should be compatible. These need to be studied before doing the formulation. During the pre-formulation studies, you can take your polymer and the drug, you need to try a different concentration. By using various techniques, you can identify the nature of your molecule after treatment with the polymers. So, end of your studies, your drug should not degrade and should not go any the incompatibilities after the treatment. So, if your drug is compatible with that polymer, you can take that at right concentration, you can convert into drug delivery system, and that should have enough mechanical strength whenever you are going for the topical formulations or some other systems. So, even for the tissue engineering application, mechanical strength is very, very important. So, yes, not all polymers will show the mechanical strength. Based on that, we need to select the right polymers, which is very, very important property for the polymers. And as we discussed mucoadhesion, yes, we can with this mucoadhesion system, you can target on the oral application, we can also use for the buccal, we can also use for the nasal delivery systems, we can also go with the ophthalmic delivery systems. Like so many systems, we can target the various organs by using of these mucoadhesion systems. Yes, how it works? Because of the on the organs, on the layers, there is a mucus will present on the surface of that organs, and that mucin will involve in the interaction with that carrier systems. So, this is not important for all type of polymers. Whenever you want to go for as an mucoadhesive delivery system, your polymer should have an effective interaction or attraction with that mucin, or by using other systems or other theories, your polymer should show mucoadhesive effect. Then only such polymer can be utilized for the mucoadhesive drug delivery systems. So, with this, when it will interact with the mucin, the retention time will increase, and further the drug will release at the target site. It will increase the residence time when you use mucoadhesive systems compared with the conventional system. For simple example, when you take eye drops, your after administration, the tear will come out. With that, the drug clearance will happens with the tear. But when you use mucoadhesive system, the eye contains the mucin system, so which will adhere to that mucin, so it will retain for longer time. So, with this, we need to develop various types of the mucoadhesive system. And stimuli-responsive is depends on the type of polymer, so which can be used for the targeted. You can use either pH sensitive or temperature sensitive polymers for the cancer targeting and other diseases. So, here yes, we can use in the various applications. It will not limited to only these examples, we can use into various systems. We can convert microspheres and the nanospheres. With this, we can maintain control, sustain target delivery by using various biological molecules. The best examples are the PLGA, PLA, PCL and chitosan and alginate. Yes, that need to be the great advantage biodegradable control release polymers. And here we can use hydrogels for wound healing and other applications. So, these are the polymers, we can use it for the hydrogels, and they will works on various systems. They will swell in water and they will also respond to the stimuli. This is very, very important parameter for the hydrogel application. And if you want to use any polymers for the transdermal delivery, so these are the few polymers we can use it to convert your drugs into the transdermal formulations. And you need to consider what are the properties which are important for the as a transdermal molecule. So, those drugs we can convert into transdermal patches. These are non-invasive and which will improve the patient compliance. Now, yes, you can also go with the colon targeting. These are the various diseases, and these are the polymers which can go for the colon targeting systems that will respond or release the drug molecule at colon pH. And here is the mucoadhesive system. These already we have discussed. These are the various mucoadhesive polymers that will site at that mucus space, and we can also avoid the first pass metabolism. And here these are the surface which contain the mucus system, which will improve the bioavailability and retention. And yes, this another segment, polymer drug conjugate. So, here you can use polymer and you can conjugate with your polymer. So, you can enhance solubility, you can also improve the permeability, that leads to the improvement in the half life or bioavailability. With that, you can also target into the particular site. So, these are the polymer, these are few polymers, there are so many polymers which we can use it for the polymer drug conjugation. So, here drug is covalently linked with the polymer that becomes in a new molecule. Here is the non-drug delivery applications of the polymers. So, here we use for the tissue engineering as well as regenerative medicines. So, these various types of the polymers as I mentioned like chitosan and other type of like sodium alginate, we can also use hydroxy apatite and hydroxy hyaluronic acid. Such materials can be used for the 3D scaffolds. So, here we can grow the cells in the 3D scaffolds. So, we can also use for the wound healing. So, these are the biodegradable films and hydrogels that can be improve the healing of the wounds. And also we can also convert into the surgical sutures and also staples. And we can also use for as an implants and other bone fixation devices with the polymers. So, here these are the few advantages and the limitations of the novel drug delivery systems. So, here first we can see the modified drug release. So, here we are going to see the advantages, limitations of the polymers. So, advantages, with these polymers we can modify the drug release. We can also achieve the target drug delivery systems by modifying polymers into the various novel drug delivery systems. Yes, this can be biocompatible and the biodegradable. That is one of the major advantages compared with the other materials. So, this polymer will also protect the molecules as we discussed in terms of entry coated and pH sensitive. So, we can also protect the molecule from the pH responsive. And yes, versatile routes of administration possible. You can give by oral, injection, even in the topical formulations, but you need to convert it to the right dosage form. Enhanced solubility, bioavailability also possible, because if you use some the polymeric micelles, we can improve the water solubility, and also you can encapsulate your molecules, or by treating with the various technologies and methods, you can improve the solubility that leads to the improvement in the bioavailability. Yes, we can get one great advantages with these materials which are mucoadhesive, that will help in for the other properties that can be improved. We can retain the molecules or drug delivery system at particular mucin located sites, and also we can improve the patient compliance. With all this will help us for the utilization of the polymers. The challenges are, yes, polymer toxicity, but before performing or before developing the formulation, we need to see the toxicity or safety concentration, safety level concentration of the polymer need to be tested. If the polymer is toxic, you cannot use it for a drug delivery applications. And manufacturing complexity, yes, when you want to go for the combination of 2 polymers or 3 polymers. So, again manufacturing is one of the major challenge and the cost will increase. Stability issues, there are the polymers which will undergo instability issues. Such cases we need to store in some refrigerator, and we need to avoid the especially PLGA. So, that need to store in the refrigerators only. So, such degradation happens at high temperature. So, stability also one of the issue that we need to consider while developing the polymers. And limited drug loading, yes, this is when you are, especially when we are going with the hydrophilic or water soluble polymers, you will see the limited drug loading, and especially in natural polymers also. So, same parameter will happen for same water soluble or natural polymers will undergo burst release. So, this will not show the efficacy. So, that need to be considered. We need to select right polymer, or you need to modify that polymer into the semi-synthetic. Batch to batch variability, yes, reproducibility is one of the major issue. So, if you use continuous method system or some scalable technique, so with that we can avoid the batch to batch variability, because with that we can identify the what are the process control parameters, and that you need to optimize, and then we can process through the large scalable methods or commercial techniques With that, we can avoid all these challenges. So, with this we are going to stop today's lecture, and in upcoming classes we are going to learn on various materials which are used in the drug delivery systems. Thank you so much.